Hey guys, so this might be one of the final installments, we'll see. This is a story about how I had to visit a nightclub named after my wife's genitalia. I wasn't going to tell this story, but I'm still being encouraged to harass me, and cyber harassment is not okay. It's not cool. I do not support it. I do not recommend it, and I do not ask anyone to do it for me. Never have, never will. I do, however, support people telling the truth. My ex-wife got on her social media and trying to make it seem like I'm obsessed with her, calling me Mr. KORRA O'Biddy. I want to move on with my life. I want her to leave my name out of her mouth, and I want to stop being harassed for crimes I never committed. I've already proven that I did not beat her up until she had a miscarriage. I've already proven this in court, in a court of law, and I'm still being harassed for it, and it's being perpetuated out of her mouth after I won in court. So, she's calling me Mr. KORRA O'Biddy, which is really funny because her last name is still Dean. She's still carrying my name. My children's name is Dean. I want nothing to do with the O'Biddy family. They are a family of scammers. They are a family of liars. All they do is get on the internet and perpetuate lies. So I want nothing to do with them, now that that's clear. Coordinating a smear campaign. Let's talk about what a smear campaign is. A smear campaign is when you go public repeatedly over time with lies. In order for something to be a smear campaign, it has to be untrue. If it is true, which I can prove in every single statement I've made, I can prove by either text messages, voice notes that I've recorded, which I will not record online because it's illegal. I will not play online because it's illegal. Or witnesses. What the story I'm about to tell you has witnesses that will be willing to testify in court if we ever need to go that route. But what I want is to move on and stop having her name come out of my name come out of her mouth and stop the harassment. So it's not people are harassing me, and I'm just telling the truth of what I endured, and that's it. This is me reclaiming my life. When you're in a relationship with a toxic or narcissistic person, they want to control you. They want to control you emotionally, physically, financially, and spiritually. Even after you get it, even after you leave, they still want to control you in every conceivable way. This series has been very therapeutic for me because it is reestablishing my own control of my life rather than it being controlled by her and what she says. So let's get started. In 2020, it was during COVID lockdown. This is when she claimed that I was locking her in the house, but it was actually a COVID lockdown. And I encouraged her to get off social media for 10 days or 2 weeks to do something else, because she was too consumed by it, spending 18 hours a day scrolling. And I thought it would be good for her mental health if she got outside and went for a walk, worked on other projects, rather than just scrolling other people's content as market research. And after about 10 days, without revealing anything medical, let's just say she had a mental crisis. And she broke down and told me that she had cheated on me. Okay? Well, we already had a kid, and I was upset, but it occurred after I had left the United States to work on building a business, building a life for us, while she was still in Nigeria. So in her mind, it was justified because we were not legally married in the United States yet. And indeed, we were not. So her justification for cheating, and she would not apologize to me, so we thought about this for 6 months. She wouldn't apologize. She would say we weren't married, meaning that the traditional marriage doesn't count. And also, she would say, it's not cheating if you use a condom. This is what I was told for 6 months. I had to get her father involved, I had to get her family involved and be like, talk some sense into this woman so we can move past this. As a result of her inability to take accountability for the hurt that she caused me, she bailed. She went to Nigeria with June. I believe this is around September or something, September, November. And once she got there, she told me that she was going to raise June in Nigeria and I would never see my daughter again. And naturally, many of you know, my weakness is my kids. I love my kids dearly. And I'm doing this so that I can be the best version of myself for my kids. Because if somebody's trying to destroy their life, I expect them to stand up for themselves. And I also expect them, if they start to get into a toxic relationship, that they leave. So, which I did not do. That was my mistake. So anyway, so she's in Nigeria, hanging out with the guy that she cheated on me with, making videos with the guy that she cheated on me with, and just to emotionally upset me. So I didn't know what to do, so I went on a vacation. I went to Brazil and I went to Costa Rica to clear my head. And I was, at this point, her words were, we are divorced now. I'm not coming back to America. So she's in Nigeria telling me I'm never going to see my daughter again. And I'm like trying to think about what to do. So I came to the conclusion I had to go to Nigeria to get my daughter. So my intention was to go to Nigeria and get my daughter and not get back with her. Well, the family formed an intervention, and her father, who I respected quite a lot at that time, which I no longer have any respect for whatsoever, begged me, got on his knees and cried, and begged me to forgive her. And then she did apologize. And I was so torn, but my desire was to keep the family intact. So I got back with her at this time, and everything was looking good, and we were hanging out, and we were back to our old selves. You know, this is the toxic spiral. It's like extreme highs by extreme lows. Okay? So then one night, and this is probably the most traumatic experience of my life so far, including I've had a few near-death experiences, not traumatic. This is the most traumatic experience of my life, that a person could be so out of tune with, like, or I don't know if it was meant to hurt me, or she's just so, she just doesn't understand her actions and how they hurt people. But we were going out to the club one night, and the club was named Moist. It's in Lagos, Nigeria. And I'm hanging out there with some of my friends, because I do have many Nigerian friends, and her. And two of my friends overheard her. Well, first, let's back up. This white guy comes up and shakes my hand and gives me a hug. And I was like, who's this guy? He was the owner of the club. His name is Joe. And he comes up and embraces me like a brother, right? And I'm like, okay, this is weird. And then she told me, that's Joe. And I was like, what? And then she proceeded to tell me that when they were together, she came up with the name of the club, Moist, because she has a moist vagina. And two of my friends overheard this. And I didn't know what to do. You would have thought that I would have got angry, made a scene. I shut down. I just shut down and sat on the couch in complete disbelief that someone could be so disrespectful and have so much lack of respect that she could bring me to a club named after her genitalia while married to me and brag about it. And it's the most traumatic experience of my life. And once again, her father begged me to not leave her. And I was just like, I rationalized it because I was like, this has got to be some kind of mental health thing. This has got to be something. I got to get this woman help. So I still tried to make the marriage work even after that. I am such an idiot. That is the level of dedication that I had to try to keeping the family intact. And our marriage never recovered from that. It truly didn't. And I was too much of a coward to leave. I was too much of a coward to leave because I was just defeated, honestly. It was a complete, like, I felt defeated. Like I had no more fight in me to stand up for myself. So that is one of the most hurtful experiences of my life. And I haven't talked about this in a while. It really brings up some trauma for me. And I'm not saying this because I want people to go harass her. I'm saying this because I have felt controlled by this woman, both in the marriage and out, where it's like I no longer had a voice. I no longer had any sort of self-respect, any sort of pride in myself. And that continued after the divorce. And recently, I've been doing a lot of self-work. And the only way that I could ever truly look at myself in the mirror with any sort of respect is to come out with this publicly. Not because I want to, but because there's so many lies and harassment and so much hate towards me, when all I was a loving husband trying to help her build her dream. And interesting enough, the divorce helped her build her dream by the destruction of me. And that's just not okay. It's just not fair. I'm extremely proud of myself for staying on social media, making content, and proving to myself and everyone else that I am here to stay. I am a worthy human. I'm worthy of life. I'm worthy of love, and I'm worthy of respect. And that was taken from me. And I'm reclaiming it. Can I stop for the sake of my kids? You guys don't understand. If I don't respect myself, and I don't stand up for myself when I'm being bullied, harassed, and trying to have my entire life destroyed, I will never reach my potential as a father. I'll never reach my potential as a husband if I ever get remarried. I will never reach my potential as a human being. When somebody takes from you your self-respect, your self-identity, your self-worth, it's it's hard to get back. And that's why I'm going public with this, not to hurt her in any way. It's to reclaim my own self-respect.